Welcome to LinesToGo installation videos. Today we will be replacing fuel lines on a 2000 GMC Yukon using LinesToGo part number FL188-D. While this particular installation is being performed on a 2000 Yukon, this set of lines will also fit the following year, make, and models as shown on your screen now. LinesToGo lines are made using original equipment end forms and fittings that are CNC bent for an easy and precise installation. We have also upgraded to stainless steel braided Teflon hoses for rust protection and to prevent surface fouling. These have an unlimited shelf life and anti-static PTFE liner. This set of LinesToGo lines are made from G2 Galfan coated steel tubing for rust resistance that exceeds OEM standards. Tech tip: disconnect the battery before working on a vehicle to reduce the risk of shorting out the battery on tools or lines. LinesToGo lines are made with a sectional design for easier installation. We also use color-coded unions on our sectioned lines. Just match the colors at the connections. Make sure to depressurize the fuel system before starting the installation. Tools required: 8mm, 10mm, 11mm, 13mm, and 15mm sockets and ratchet, 13mm, 16mm, 5/16 of an inch, and 13/16 of an inch wrenches, LinesToGo disconnect tool, part number 5230-01 or 3133-01, flat blade screwdriver, pliers and cutting pliers, pry bar, drain pan, jack and jack stands. The level of difficulty for this installation is considered to be medium. To depressurize the fuel system, locate the fuel pump fuse using your owner's manual and remove it. Start the vehicle and wait for the engine to stall. Make sure to replace the fuse once completed. Start by disconnecting the negative battery terminal using a 5/16 of an inch wrench. Use an 8mm socket to remove the two bolts that secure the plastic engine cover and remove the cover from the vehicle. Remove the locking clips from the fuel line quick connect fittings. Disconnect the supply and return line quick connect fittings using the LinesToGo disconnect tool, part number 5230-01 or 3133-01. Disconnect the vapor tube from the purge valve by depressing the plastic tab. Remove the nylon vapor tube from underneath the fuel rail. Raise and support the vehicle. Use an 11mm socket to remove the 4 bolts that secure the front of the front drive shaft. Position the front of the drive shaft on top of the front differential. Use a pry bar or flat blade screwdriver to carefully work the rubber boot off the output shaft of the transfer case. Continue to remove the front drive shaft from the vehicle. Next, we will remove the fuel tank. At the rear of the tank, use a flat blade screwdriver to loosen the 2 clamps that secure the fuel filler hoses and remove the hoses from the tank. Remove the large vent tube from the plastic clips along the fuel tank. Use a 13mm socket to remove the bolt that secures the charcoal canister mounting bracket. Remove the 3 quick connect fittings from the charcoal canister by depressing the plastic tabs and remove the charcoal canister from the vehicle. On top of the front of the fuel tank, disconnect the supply and return line quick connect fittings by depressing the plastic tabs. These connections are somewhat difficult to access, however we found it easiest by reaching one hand on either side of the driver's side frame rail. Place a support underneath the fuel tank and remove the bolts that secure the fuel tank straps using a 15mm socket. Remove the straps from the vehicle. Start to lower the fuel tank until you can access the sending unit. Remove the metal cover from the top of the sending unit using a 10mm socket. Remove the 2 electrical connectors from the sending unit. Continue to lower the fuel tank and remove it from underneath the vehicle. At the top of the bell housing, use a 13mm socket to remove the bolt that secures the fuel line bracket. Remove the plastic bracket from the fuel lines beside the transmission. Use a pair of cutting pliers to cut the 3 flexible fuel sections beside the transmission. Use a 13mm socket to remove the 3 bolts that secure the ABS module into position. This will allow you to route the fuel lines into position behind the module. Please note, if your brake lines are in poor condition, moving the ABS module could result in damage to the lines. Use a 13mm socket to remove the 2 bolts that secure the plastic fuel filter bracket. Remove the fuel lines from the plastic clips along the frame. Remove the 3 rear sections of fuel lines from the vehicle. Remove the plastic bracket that secures the front fuel lines to the metal bracket beside the transmission. Remove the remaining plastic brackets and start to remove the fuel lines from the vehicle. Once you have access to the vapor line quick connection, disconnect it by depressing the plastic tab. Continue to remove the fuel lines from the vehicle. To begin the installation of your new LinesToGo stainless steel fuel lines, start by connecting the nylon front section of the vapor line that was removed earlier to the new flexible vapor line labeled 7396-01. Feed the 3 flexible front fuel lines down the back of the engine on the driver's side and route the nylon vapor line underneath the fuel rail. Connect the nylon vapor line to the purge valve. Connect the supply and return line quick connections at the fuel rail. Use the supplied brackets to secure the flexible fuel lines to the existing metal brackets at the transmission using a 13mm socket and wrench to tighten the supplied bolts. Next, we will need to splice the existing section of molded nylon vent line that connects the charcoal canister to the new LinesToGo vent line labeled BBYY. Lay the 2 lines together and mark the straight section of both lines to be spliced. Cut both lines with a sharp knife or razor blade to ensure a clean cut. Remove the shark bite fitting from the end of the new line by depressing the plastic tab on the end. Connect the 2 sections of line using the shark bite fitting. Install the new rear section of the LinesToGo vapor line into position, routing it behind the ABS module. Secure the line into the plastic clips along the frame. Next, install the rear section of the LinesToGo return line labeled AB into position, routing it behind the ABS module. Next, install the plastic fuel filter bracket removed earlier onto the fuel filter and install the rear section of the supply line into position. Use a 13mm socket to tighten the 2 bolts that secure the fuel filter bracket. Connect the front and rear sections of the return and vent lines using the quick connect fittings, noting the LinesToGo color-coded connections. Connect the front flexible supply line to the front of the fuel filter, noting the LinesToGo color-coded connection. Tighten both threaded connections at the fuel filter using a 16mm and a 13/16 of an inch wrench. Use a 13mm socket to replace the 3 bolts that secure the ABS module. Place the fuel tank back underneath the vehicle and start to raise it into position. Once the tank is high enough, connect the 2 electrical connectors at the sending unit and replace the metal cover. Secure the cover using a 10mm socket. Continue to raise the tank into position. Replace the fuel tank straps and secure them using a 15mm socket. Connect the supply and return line quick connections at the front of the fuel tank. Connect the 3 vapor lines to the charcoal canister and replace the metal bracket. Secure the canister using a 13mm socket. Secure the large vapor tube into the plastic clips along the fuel tank. Replace the 2 fuel filler hoses at the rear of the tank and tighten the clamps using a flat blade screwdriver. Replace the front drive shaft back into position. Tighten the 4 bolts that secure the front drive shaft using an 11mm socket. Replace the plastic engine cover and secure it using an 8mm socket. Connect the negative battery terminal using a 5/16 of an inch wrench. This concludes the installation of stainless steel fuel lines on a 2000 GMC Yukon using LinesToGo part number FL188-D. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions or would like to purchase the lines you saw today, please call us at 1-855-781-5992. Email us at info@linestogo.com or check out our website link below. Don't forget to take advantage of our free next day shipping. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button below, and we will see you in our next video.